All right, what's up, guys? Evanaldo here. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like. I want to give you an update on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin versus gold. I want to talk about gold a little bit because that's been doing well, and Bitcoin dominance as well. Kind of the macro strategies I've been looking at. Then we'll talk about the more short term here. So the first thing I want to show you guys here. Let me just get up the Bitstamp chart real quick because I want to see more data here going back a long time, and I want to show you guys the weekly because we're almost there with these EMAs. See how these EMAs are almost all bright here? Just one or two more. So if we can get, all of these bright, that really, I already think, the odds are higher that we've, given that we've busted above, 25K, the 200 weekly moving average, and held that for a good amount of time now. Odds are much higher that 15K was the bottom. Also, if you look here, this would even perfect it, even make the argument stronger that it was the bottom. Look at every time this happened. Nice jump up there. Still a pretty good buying opportunity here. Good DCA opportunity. I think it's going to be more like we'd kind of hope it's going to be more like this because dollar losing reserve currency status. Things could get really ugly. Yes, Bitcoin would go up, but you're going to see a lot of people, getting hurt and other things, happening if we just, go up to 100K by the end of the year, some crazy thing like that. You kind of want it to be more of an accumulation phase rather than kind of a bull run. We are in some interesting times. You would hope the Fed does the responsible thing and raises interest rates, as much as they should be raised to fix the inflation problem. But it's kind of looking like they're going to pause or pivot, too soon. You also have the possibility of them, they pivot too soon, then they go back and turn on the rates again towards the end of the year and then bring things down for kind of a curveball. I think that could still be in the cards. But if you look at, just to show you this, I don't think it's a good idea to FOMO in, like crazy. But even back here in 2012, June 2012 to January, 2013, 6 to 8 month, like DCA period, you know what I mean? That was your 2013 run. So a good DCA period. The things kind of get extended, over time. I think most of the bull runs have been longer than the last. I forget what the statistic is. I think that's what it is. But and then kind of just the DCA period from here, kind of from that area, as if you started back there and then got in, and then that would have been fine. So. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right there. Your RSIs are pretty high up here, which you did have another jump up. That would be the case for 40K if it plays out exactly like that. Keep in mind, history never really plays out exactly. It rhymes, though. It's similar, but this is really, really similar. Like blue triangle, green dot, and then some more. That'd be wild if it plays out exactly like that. And then over here, the kind of, it was even similar to that area, too. Wow, that is wild how similar that looks. That is pretty wild. So we'll see what happens here. So I think 40K definitely could be in the cards. That's what we're looking at right there. So let me just get on to, let me show you let's get on some of those shorter time frames a little bit. Here's the main strategy I'm kind of following the DCA into this market. 2 week in the red, I'm planning on going until January. I think it kind of will play out similar to that. If it does, let's just go back to here to show you in 2013. If it plays out like this, I'm just going to keep DCAing. You know what I mean? Just until my goal is just to keep going until December, January. In terms of altcoins, because let's be real, the vast majority of money is going to be made with altcoins. Bitcoin's already at a $500 billion market cap. You could get up to somewhere between, I think, 80K to 150, probably more likely 80K to 130 in the next bull run sometime, between 2025, 2026 potentially, most likely in 2025. But in terms of getting into alts or converting your Bitcoin to alts, you want to do that. I would say, look at this Bitcoin dominance right here. Look at where we are with money flow. This would have been the beautiful, perfect place to start getting into alts, start converting Bitcoin to alts, or start getting into alts here. Not financial advice, but I think getting into the green here is going to be a real big place. Now, if we map that out, let's map that out here. Now, this is more trajectory for it to be longer. That could happen if we get a curveball, but right now it's looking a little bit more like it's going to be something of this nature. 57% in June. Summer. Maybe we see a summer lull where everything kind of comes down and And that creates a good buying opportunity for Bitcoin. Maybe we get up to, I don't know, 40K, and then we come back to 25K to test the 200 weekly moving average, something like that. Maybe 26, 27K at that point. I don't know. But that's going to be the really good place, I think, to get into alts where Bitcoin dominance kind of potentially peaks out. Unless we get a curveball, unless something crazier happens, maybe the Fed gets just super hawkish in the second half of this year and shoots us back down. That would be similar to what happened with the NASDAQ, because after the dot-com bubble, look, we've already broken from this a tiny bit, but three green candles, and then if you compare it to Bitcoin on the monthly here, you had 3 green candles. So if it's like the NASDAQ, you got 8 more green candles. That's the main case to come down and bottom out, sometime in, where would eight candles bring you? Let's see here. Yeah, right in December towards the end of the year. That's still your case for, the low numbers. Now, we talk about every potential case. The probability of that is much lower now than it was, but we're in some interesting times. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Read the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Anything can happen. So it's good to talk about every possibility. That's what I'm looking at right there. And, in terms of shorter term, let's just take a look at, I've been looking at the liquidation points. They're not always going to, not everything is going to get hit here. Not every short is going to get liquidated or every long is going to get liquidated, but sometimes they're useful. You have a bunch of liquidations, 200 million on Binance at about 29.5K right here. Let's look at, on our Coinbase chart, what we're hitting right now. Where 29.5K is. 29.5K is right around this spider line. Then in a few days, maybe we hit 29.5K, the top of this range, and then you have somewhat of a pullback. And now we have the green on the 2-day printing right here. That could be the catalyst to bring us up. Daily is printing the green dot as well. That could be the catalyst to bring us up a bit more. You also have the trigger wave here, money flow coming up. That could be the catalyst to bring us up a bit more. The thing is, you already rejected pretty harshly, pretty firmly from the pocket. Your money flow looks like it could start to come down pretty soon here. So again, we could come down sooner. You confirmed, the red dot here on the 4-hour. I believe the 5-hour is now printing a red dot. Money flow coming out. This confirms in 4 hours about. And let's see, price is generally kind of coming down some more here. So that's what I'm looking at right there. Your 22 minute is about to kind of cross into the red there. So I would say you're getting close to that swing short opportunity. The 2-day and the daily printing green dots are kind of weirding me out with this. I did have a swing short that did get stopped out, unfortunately. It kind of went exactly to kind of the stop area and then came back down. A lot of people were thinking what I was thinking, so that's kind of what happened there. Your 15-minute is now crossing into the red here, into the red to potentially come down. So it could be that potential. It could be that potential to kind of hit that area, but you still got to worry about those liquidation points up there. It's usually not where when you're printing these things on the lower time frames, usually you don't see the green dot on the daily or the 2-day. So a little weird to me, but my Ethereum swing short, and that's another trade I had in the exclusive Discord that I've been in for a while, is still intact, is still in and not doing bad. The altcoin, a lot of my altcoin shorts as well. So mainly just with this Bitcoin dominance really riding, you see these peaks up for Bitcoin that you're not seeing for the altcoins. And if you're interested in the Discord, link in the description below. And also, if you sign up to any of my exchange links down below and deposit at least $100, I'll give you 1 free month in the exclusive Discord. Just shoot me a DM on Discord with your UID, and I will get that sorted for you. So yeah, guys, check that out if you're interested. And yeah, so we're seeing this area right now. Money flow is crossing over into the red in the 30-minute too. I forgot to mention this. Interesting because this combined with 8-hour coming down. This does look relatively bearish. I would just be lenient. Be lenient with, I think, the stop loss just because, especially for Bitcoin, because there's always, it could potentially be more jumps up. We could back test this a little bit. This was so it didn't work here. You came up higher. It worked here for a long. So it's not always going to work, but a lot of times it kind of does. Here is iffy depending on where you took your first take profit. So not been too reliable on this time frame lately. But I think with what you're seeing on some of these time frames, the other thing too we want to focus on is look at the 4-hour. See, these all went gray, and then you came back up. Maybe when these go gray again would be a good place to look to potentially go short. So that's what we're looking at right there, kind of that area. Pretty decent rejection off of that point right now. Let's look at ETH a little bit. So right now you're hitting still the same. You're playing around at the top of the trend line there. Weekly is about to cross into the green here. And yeah, I mean, the last time it did this, he kind of came down a bit more. So it's a different kind of thing right now. Definitely a different kind of thing. I do think, crossing into the green and these EMAs turning green does, kind of signify that could definitely, the odds are higher of that being the bottom. But I do think ETH has more time, at least for the next, 3 to 4 months, probably at least until June, time to bleed against Bitcoin, in my opinion, or at best just do the same as it, you know what I mean? But the ETH Bitcoin chart is still looks pretty bearish. You don't have, what's interesting here is, okay, you got the green dot there, you confirm that, bearish div, didn't play out too much yet, you just came up a little bit more, still not higher than that high there. You do have a big place at 1900, so if we get a last leg up, that's the place to look. Your 12-hour money flow come up, trigger wave, tiny bit more bearish, I would say, and then money flow coming down in the 6-hour. This is going to confirm in an hour, 40 minutes. That could be a potential good place to look for a swing short. I mean, if for a swing short, you could have a stop loss up here and then first take profit down there. That's not a bad risk-reward ratio for this. And then money flow kind of coming out here. So that's what we're looking at right there. And yeah, that kind of area right there. This is money flow crossover there. Kind of like Bitcoin. This has been choppy, man. We've been in this range for a while. Let's just take a look at this, where your kind of technical target would be if you were to break up or break down out of this, because that's going to be significant when it does happen. So if you break up, right to that area. And then if you break down right to 1590, that's going to be interesting to see what happens here. We will see. We will absolutely see. I'm not sure. My guess is down just because ETH looks so bearish against Bitcoin, but we'll see. And the other thing, too, that I wanted to kind of show you guys, we looked at Bitcoin dominance. This is Bitcoin versus gold, which looks very similar to Bitcoin versus the dollar. This is interesting how it went into the red here back in December 22. So if we get a big curveball and Bitcoin goes down more towards the end of the year, this is where this could bleed more and gold outperforms it just a little bit more and Bitcoin makes the lower low here, at least against gold. That's that possibility. Kind of don't think it's going to happen now based on what I'm seeing, but we will have to see here. Gold in general is interesting too, because it's been doing so well. We're just pumping up, and you're almost back to the all-time high. And this weekly looks not bad. Let's look at the monthly here. This doesn't look particularly good, but if you look at where the money flow was back here, I mean, gold. Gold could do well. I mean, we could easily go to 3,000, easily go to this point. Do I think Bitcoin will probably outperform in the next few years? Yeah, most likely. But as a something that's volatile, gold is probably a pretty good buy. And if you look at the Nasdaq too, just to give you an update on traditional markets a little bit, this has been interesting. I know Michael Burry posted today on Twitter, I was wrong to say to sell, and this has been exceeding a lot of people's expectations, including my own to a certain extent, hitting right here now. Every time you come into the green on the 2-day, it's been a nice drop down. Maybe you get a bearish div here on the 2-day that finally brings you down. But, man, I mean, that weekly, your EMAs are starting to turn bright again. Could be a little, bull trap here. But if those turn bright, man, this is just, indicative of inflation, indicative of dollar losing world reserve currency status. So we are in some interesting, very interesting times. We would hope the Fed, kind of does the right thing, but kind of doesn't look like it's going to happen at the moment. So that's what I'm looking at for, Bitcoin, Ethereum right now. We are dropping down quite a bit. I mean, this could be a potentially good place to try to enter. Also, the 3-hour too. This crossing back into the red could be a potentially good place to try to enter a potential swing short. All right, guys, that's all I got. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.